This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Once again, thank you everyone for joining this session. This is Satish from Isha. Quick introduction about me. I have close to 12 to 13 years of experience in IT, both in performance testing, engineering, and as well as in the product development as well. Okay, and I've been doing this training for last 2 to 3 years with Asia. So this course, the performance engineering course, we are starting it from today. Today is going to be more of an introduction to make you understand what are all topics we are going to cover, what are all engineering related topics that we will be covering throughout this batch. Okay. So it's going to be close to 22, 24 um, sessions, 24 hours of will run over a month and a week, starting from today. Okay, and next 30 to 45 minutes, I'll probably go over the detail about the topics that we are going to cover. Okay, and I believe most of you who have joined this call uh, uh, might be already doing certain level of performance testing in your projects, right? That is what I that is my guess. Most of you might be already doing the performance testing. You have knowledge, skill in the performance testing area. Okay, and when we wanted to see how we can upskill yourself into from performance tester, when we want to learn something, upskill, cross skill, there are a couple of areas which you can obviously get into it, right? One is if you are interested in other aspect of testing, you can be a full stack QA engineer where you can go and learn automation testing or security testing. You can increase your knowledge in the breadth of testing, different aspects of testing. So you can be a full stack QA. Or if you are passionate in development, you can also be an SDET, development plus testing. And something deep into performance, if you wanted to continue your career completely into performance, then definitely from a performance tester, uh, there's a lot of learnings are there if you wanted to continue your career as a performance tester and performance engineer. Okay? So performance engineering, you take it any landscape, be cloud or non-cloud, data center, DevOps, agile, everywhere your engineering is going to be pretty much there. That's not going to change because the engineering which we are going to learn and do it is more on the application, not on the way it is going to get deployed in cloud or non-cloud, right? So engineering is going to be there, definitely a niche skill set. You will be a differentiator, definitely, when compared with other performance tester. If you know already performance tester, your experience in performance tester, and you're going to learn and upskill yourself in performance engineering, both internally and externally as well, you are going to be niche in the job market. Okay, so when it comes to performance engineering, it's going to be a combination of multiple skill set, right? As I said, you already know testing, so you covered one aspect of your performance engineering. Second is going to be the whole a lot of system analysis. I'll talk about what is that system analysis shortly, but it will it will contain all the engineering activities that we do. And then a little bit of programming knowledge, basics of program. You're not going to do any coding or going to give any fixes, but at least ABCD of programming concepts is required so that you can talk confidently with your developers. For that reason, if you go and talk about the defects, go and talk about the issues, you're going to say there's a memory leak, you're going to say there is a thread contention, you're going to say there is a response time issue with your method. So to talk in the language of developer, it is good to know few basics about the programming language and the framework. Okay. So all these things put together is going to be part of your performance engineering, and of course network or administration, right? So you need to go and install tools, softwares. You cannot expect the other people to do it for you. Any tools, any softwares, deploying the application in a Tomcat, at least all these administration you should be able to do it. So performance engineering, majority of chunk is going to be your system analysis, but it is good to have that programming and administration knowledge to a level where it will help you to uh, carry out your engineering work efficiently. Okay, so from a system analysis perspective, from an engineering perspective, it's going to be a lot of things. You will gain experience as you start working in projects, right? So right from your reviewing your system architecture, system design, that you might not be able to do the review of the system architecture or design maybe in the first year or second year, third year. But as you progress along as a performance engineer, you might end up in reviewing your architecture, validating whether your architecture design will meet the non-functional requirement or not. Those things you'll be able to do it along with your architects, right? Because at the beginning of any application, business team will give you the NFR, right? My application has to be within 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Um, and then you will have a design or architecture provided by your architecture team. You before even they develop, you have to validate whether this architecture will meet the SLA or not. Otherwise, the developer will go and develop it, and then you go and test it, and then find out that whatever you tune it or profile it, this will not meet your NFR because the design is wrong or the architecture is not meant to meet these SLAs. So those kind of these things you will be able to do it. Maybe not at the beginning. With a lot of experience, you will be able to do it. Otherwise, from an engineering perspective, it is going to be combination of your profiling, server-side profiling, client-side profiling, using Java JProfilers, using developer tools, heap dump analysis, thread dump analysis, memory leak analysis, GC analysis, using APM tool effectively like AppDynamics or Dynatrace, monitoring your performance just in an effective way, database AWR analysis. So all these things from end to end, from client-side profiling to server-side profiling, leak analysis, thread dump analysis, garbage collection analysis, and then your using the APM tool effectively, AWR report analysis. All these things put together is going to be the core job of a performance engineer. Again, we will cover a lot of these things, almost everything in this course. Um, but you're going to gain experience as you move along. When you take this course, when you practice whatever I'm going to say, then you will get certain level of knowledge and experience. And then when you get into a project and then carry out all these things, you gain experience and then you improve your skill set as you move along. But the objective of this course, objective of this batch is to get you into this hands-on, get you comfortable with a lot of these areas. Okay, so the way we will do it here is I'll have a sample application, a e-library application, a Java-based application, which we will use it for our engineering course. So I'll be deploying it to the Tomcat, creating some response time problem, creating some memory leak issues, creating some thread contentions. All these things we will go and use the application. We will profile it. We'll do a diagnostics, identify a problem, and then we'll try to see how it can be fixed. And then we will rerun all these scenarios again to see whether the issues is fixed or not. So it's going to be a most of these, wherever hands-on is required, hands-on is possible, we will have a complete hands-on. And all these war files, the code, everything will be given to you, so that you can also do the hands-on once the session is over on a particular day or over the weekend. You can completely practice everything. So whatever we are going to do here, completely whatever I do it in the day-to-day sessions, right, you would be able to do it absolutely in your laptop. Okay, there's nothing there are few commercial tools like JProfiler or AppDynamics, but those are all available as a trial licenses completely for your learning. right? So all that is required is you need a laptop, a Java installed, a Eclipse, a Tomcat. That is all you require for the your hands-on. And I will provide you all the softwares that has to be installed. Will also provide the code and WAR file. Everything will be uploaded to the Google Drive. I'll also quickly show you the drive. Yeah, this drive will be access to the drive will be given to you. Okay, where we'll have the code or WAR file for all the sessions, which you can download it from here. Okay, also we'll have a sheet where the downloadables for all the softwares, where to download the Tomcat, from where you can download the JProfiler. All these things, it will be available in the sheet as well, so that you can just get into the sheet, access it, and then download all the required prerequisite for your hands-on. Okay, so that is how we see. Though you're going to listen to the sessions and then understand, learn, but for your confidence, say if you're going to attend an interview, you're going to say that you are good in performance testing, and if you're going to say that you haven't done any engineering project, but I have learned, I have done all this code profiling, response time profiling, memory leak analysis, heap temp analysis, thread temp analysis, APM tool, doing the diagnostics of response time issue with the AppDynamics, configuring the AppDynamics with the Java application, AWR report analysis, client-side profiling. All these things, if you have done hands-on, you can just clearly say that I haven't worked in any projects, but out of my own passion, I have my own application. I have done all these things and so on for my learning, and given a chance, I can definitely go and do all these things for a project. Anybody will be impressed with your passion. They will definitely take you to the project. When compared with the other people, see, if they want an experienced performance engineer, they might not consider you. But definitely there is going to be a trade-off between salary package. They cannot afford 20-25 lakhs for the role, but they also need a person who knows engineering, right? So you will have a definite uh, edge over the other people who doesn't know engineering. They might just know performance testing, but if you know performance testing already and have this hands-on, right, you will definitely have a edge over the job market. So my advice is to definitely follow the sessions and then do the hands-on whenever possible, in the weekday or in the weekend at least. Okay, so coming to the topics, right? um, Guys, able to hear me? Somebody is saying she cannot hear me. You able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So coming to the the topics which we are going to cover, right? So initially we will cover a couple of Java basics, JVM basics. The main reason is, as I was mentioning earlier, it is very important to understand few concepts from JVM and Java so that you can confidently go and talk to the developers. We are going to find problem with the methods, find out the object which are having the memory leak, thread contention. So you only talk about method, object, class. So it is good to for you to understand these basic concepts so that you will not have that kind of a what to say. Confidence to talk to developers, right? Most of the time, even I have felt that at the beginning of the career, when we want to go and talk to the developer, tell that there's a problem, they go and say, no, it is your script problem or it is your data problem. So for us to go and talk to developers confidently, it is very important for us to get into that basics of Java and JVM, because throughout the sessions, you're going to deal with that. Okay, so initially we'll have these Java and JVM basics. In fact, this Saturday, we will not have a sessions on Saturday usually. It's going to be Monday to Friday only. But this Saturday alone, I'm going to conduct a probably 1 hour session on how to create Java programs, very basics about Java programs, how to create multiple classes, how to call a class file from another class file, how to do a JDBC connections, how to call a HTTP connection. Because most of the time in our profiling and all, we will need to know all these how this happens, right? It should not be a black box for us. We really, ideally, we don't need it to get into the code level. But if you know something about these classes, methods, how the classes will call another class file, how object is created, how the HTTP connection is happening, how a database connection is happening, it will again boost your confidence. It won't be a black box for you. So this Saturday we will have a session on some of those Java programs, how to create those Java programs. Okay, that's an add-on. We will have it this Saturday, so it is optional for you to join that session. And then we will have a response time analysis from an engineering perspective. What we will do is we will put ourselves in a such a way that we are into a project where a development started. You're involved at the beginning of the SDLC cycle, and as a performance engineer, your role is to optimize your transactions in terms of response time, in terms of memory. So we will take the e-library application, and then we'll start profiling it to find out the response time problem, and then debugging it, and then using JProfiler tool, we will go and try to identify a problem at the code level. Okay, so we'll use a combination of JProfiler, Tomcat access logs, Chrome developer tools to do this entire analysis. We'll will do both the client side analysis as well as the server side profiling when it comes to response time. So we'll use the complete developer tools. We'll also look into the couple of optimization that we can give from a client side perspective. We'll also learn a couple of important browser APIs like navigation APIs, resource timing APIs, paint APIs from a client side perspective. Okay, and then from a response time, we'll also go and look into the memory components, try to get some basics about Java heap, stack, how to identify a memory issue during an endurance test, and then we'll go and do a memory leak analysis using JProfiler, identify problems with the memory, identifying the object which are leaking. Okay. So all from a response time analysis, we will move over to the memory, and the memory sections are going to be kind of a week, more than a week and a half, where from a single user memory leak analysis, then we will move into a heap dump analysis. Normally heap dump will be taken during a load test, so we will see how to take a heap dump, why to take a heap dump, when to take a heap dump, and then we'll go and analyze the heap dump using the Eclipse plugins, right? And then we'll go into garbage collection analysis, concepts about garbage collection, what are the various collectors that are available, what exactly happens in the GC from a compaction, from a marking, from a deletion. So there are a lot of concepts within GC. From an interview perspective, we'll look into a couple of important questions that will come in the from a GC perspective, and we will also go into log analysis of GC to get into a complete in-depth analysis of the garbage collection. From there, see, for every application, you have to look into response time, you have to look into the memory, you need to look into the GC, and then the threads as well, right? The number of threads that needs to be get configured. What are the various thread-related problems, thread contentions? We'll also go and look into how to take a thread dump, when to take it thread dump, how to analyze the thread dumps. All these from a thread perspective, we'll have again detailed analysis, detailed session on threads as well. Okay, so from there we will move on to the architecture of any architecture, any application. How do we go and define a monitoring strategy? How to set up these monitoring tools? So we will have a detailed walkthrough on one of the commercial tool, AppDynamics APM tool. We'll try to understand how to configure an AppDynamics with a Java application, how to diagnose a response time problem, how to look into various section of AppDynamics, memory, heap, thread, how to take a heap dump from APM tool. So we'll have a very comprehensive section on the AppDynamics as well. And we also look into the APM, one of the open source tool, tech stack, from my infrastructure monitoring. Telegraph Inflex Grafana is a very popular combination from a open source monitoring. So we'll also look into it. And from a overall troubleshooting the problem, right? We'll probably run a small load test, and using AppDynamics, using this infra monitoring, will troubleshoot certain response time problem. Typically, how we will go and analyze a problem during a load test, we'll also try to do it with the AppDynamics and the tech stack together. We'll create some Jmeter, we'll have some Jmeter scripts, and then run those Jmeter, and then troubleshoot a problem using these tools. Okay. From there, if you look into it, overall architecture, right? You would have done the analysis of the client side and complete server side with respect to memory, response time, thread, all these things. And then we'll move on to a database. It will try to understand how a Oracle database works in terms of memory and process. Then we will look into how to take the AWR report, how to take the snapshots, when to take the snapshots, what are the thumb rule for taking the AWR report, and then couple of important concepts about parsing efficiency, buffer cache efficiency, DB time. All these things we will try to learn from a database perspective. Again, from as an application performance engineer, right? We will not go in depth into database because it's a niche area. DBS are going to take care of your tuning, SQL profiling, your database configuration. So we will not, as an application performance engineer, our role will not get into the database aspect. It is more from an application perspective. How can we analyze the AWR report from a DB time, from the buffer cache, from parsing efficiency? That is how we will learn it from an application performance engineer perspective. We will never go into DB tuning or SQL tuning or DB configuration. That will be done by DBS only. Any organization, any project, that will be a job of a DBA or a database performance engineer. As application performance engineer, we will learn whatever that is required from a application performance engineer. Okay. From there, we will go and then understand about non-functional requirement and engineering strategy. Typically, earlier we used to have this engineering strategy at the beginning, but it will be more theoretical. You will not be able to understand a lot of these things because now after going through all these sessions, you know what is thread dump, what is heap dump, what is memory analysis, all these things. Right now, I'm going to talk about the engineering strategy. Engineering strategy will have what to do, when to do all these profiling and all. That will make easy for you to understand. So we'll have this engineering strategy at the end, and then at the last, though you know engineering, though you do all these things, wherever you go, people talk about DevOps. People talk about resiliency or cloud performance. So it is good to get an introduction about what is DevOps, how is performance testing is done in DevOps, what is Jenkins, integrating Jenkins with Jmeter. So practically we'll go and integrate Jenkins and Jmeter, okay, and then understand how it is done, what are the practical issues that we will have it in terms of bringing performance into DevOps. Those practical knowledge I will try to share it with you. Similarly for cloud as well, how different your engineering is going to be from a cloud perspective. What are additional scenarios you have to include? People talk about scalability. People talk about performance testing is not required in cloud because cloud will take care of the performance. All these myths, how to handle these kind of questions. So those practical things we'll also learn uh, 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 during this future ready sessions. Okay, so this is how comprehensive it's going to be. It's somewhat tailored topics, which is something very minimal required for you to move from a performance testing to engineering, right? So all these topics are picked in such a way that we don't want to do less, and again we don't want to complicate by including so many other topics as well. So these are things that is a minimum that is required for you to move from a performance testing into a engineering area. Okay, I'll just take a pause here. If you have any questions, guys, put it in the chat. or you can also do a voiceover and then unmute and ask the question. Okay. Anybody has any questions? Feel free to ask this question, guys. Anything with respect to the topics that we are going to cover, or with respect to the schedule, with respect to the timings. Anybody has any questions? Feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, there is a private chat. How practical the um, session is going to be. See, most of these things, right? Responsive analysis, heap analysis, stack analysis, heap dump analysis, GC, thread contention, thread dump, client-side analysis, APM, AppDynamics, tick stack, everything is going to be theory will be 20%, so that you will know what is the concepts. Remaining 80%, it is going to be practical, right? So all these things are going to be pretty much practical. I will do all these things and I'll give the required artifacts to you so that you can also practice it. Okay, which application are used for scripting practice? Okay, if you want to do a scripting practice, yes, definitely you can do it. I'll just show you the application. I'll provide you the few Jmeter scripts also, or few LoadRunner scripts which I have it, or you can also create your own scripts. Let me go there. Just give me 1 second. So this is the application which will be you can use it for your practical, or for you to practice your scripting. So it will have login, and then once you log into the application, you will be able to, let me click one more time. It is still loading. So this is running in the Tomcat. Okay, I think I didn't start the MySQL. Just give me 1 second. I'll start the MySQL. Start. I'll just start it. So meanwhile, the another question, we are only covering Java-based application. Many other times use .NET. Other. See, again, from if you are moving from performance testing to performance engineering, okay, Java is the most commonly used programming language in the enterprise architecture. There are Python, there are Node, there are .NET, lot of technology and programming language. Obviously, you cannot go and start learning everything at a time, right? You have to start somewhere, and Java is the best place to start it. For example, if you wanted to learn performance testing, there are projects which is LoadRunner. There are projects which use Jmeter, New Load, Gatling. A lot of tools are there, right? Obviously, you cannot go and learn everything at a stretch. You might have started Jmeter or LoadRunner and then move to other tools. Similarly, for engineering as well, the best place to start is Java. And then once you know how it is done, then you can, if you go to another project, if they use .NET, there are going to be tools available for profiling, monitoring, analysis, all these things. Just you need to apply whatever you have learned and used for Java. You can extend it for .NET. You will get into a thought process where you know that yes, I have done it for Java. It is going to, yes, there are going to be few new things you have to learn, but everything is going to be a learning process only. For if you go to Node, you need to know how to do the profiling for Node-based applications, for Python. So that is how it goes. So in this session, in our this batch or in this course, it's going to be completely Java application is what we will use it for the engineering. Okay. So now I'll just go back. Hopefully the MySQL is started. You should be able to log in now. Are the classes every day or once a week? It will be every day, Monday to Friday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. the same time the what we are doing it now. Okay, and the recordings will be available next day before noon. Okay, that will be available every day for you to look into it for your practice or to recap whatever that is done the previous day. Even if you're going to miss a day, you will have a video recordings, and this video recording will be always available for you. Even after the sessions are completed, there is no limit for months or years. You will have access indefinitely. Okay, you will have, okay, that is to answer that question. And then the sample application for your scripting for your engineering, right? This is the application where you will have login, you will have view librarian, you will have add librarian where you can go and add it. Okay, and there is also a librarian login. If you, one second, let me log in and pick librarian user ID. Just give me 1 second. You can do 10, 12, 14 different transactions within this e-library application for your scripting practice as well. I'll just take this or copy this.
Shafi, Radhesham here. One question.
Yeah.
This session is about.
You can go and add a book, view a book, issue a book. All these transactions are available for your practice. Roughly, how many days the course will be completed? So it will be 22, 23, 24, 25 days. So without a weekend, it will go over 4 to 5 weeks very easily. Yeah, anywhere between 4 weeks to 5 weeks. Okay. So the scripting, see, this is not a performance testing course, right? So we will not get into how to create scripts, how to use LoadRunner, how to use Jmeter. That is more into performance testing. So this is the performance engineering course. So we will not get into the scripting at all to answer your question. Along with your engineering, if you want to practice scripting, you can definitely use this application for your creating the Jmeter scripts or LoadRunner scripts. But the scripting or LoadRunner or Jmeter will not be part of this session. This is purely for engineering. Sessions are scheduled over the weekend only. No, this is not for weekend. This is for the weekday. Okay, Monday to Friday. Only this coming Saturday as a additional add-on topic, just to get you some confidence into Java or Java programming. We are going to have this session this Saturday alone. Otherwise, it is going to be always Monday to Friday. There is one more question on the private chat. What exactly we will cover in the client-side analysis, whether we will use any tools. Okay, from a client-side profiling, let me open up client-side profiling slides. Okay, so in the client-side analysis, we'll just try to understand why the client-side analysis is required. Okay, and what you get from Jmeter LoadRunner, what you not get from Jmeter LoadRunner. Okay, and then what is the approach we will follow from a client-side testing perspective, with cache and without cache, as a first-time user and as a repeated user. What is the paint APIs? Why it is important from a client-side perspective? What is the navigation API? What are all metrics you will get from the navigation API? And then what are the typical report we will provide for the end user experience for client-side analysis? What is load time? What is page size? What is time to first paint? What is time to continue paint? We'll go over some of the internet sites, websites, and we'll go and capture these data. We'll see how to capture this data and then how to report it. And then depending upon the issues we observe, how we can go and provide some of the important optimization recommendation. As a performance engineer, how can we go and provide a recommendation in terms of resource compression, minification of JavaScripts, combining style sheet and JavaScripts, validating the cache expiry headers, importance of content delivery network. All these things we will try to understand practically how to analyze it, how to provide those recommendations. Okay, so client-side profiling is very easy to do it, effective, and definitely when you're going to talk about client-side analysis, end user experience, everybody will be attracted, because end of the day your end user has to be happy, right? Your end user experience has to be good. When you open a Chrome, you launch your website, it has to load fast. So that is very important from a client side perspective. That is why client side performance or profiling is very important. So that is what we will cover it in the session as well. Okay. Any other questions, guys? You have it. You can ask it now, even in the WhatsApp group as well. If you have any questions, you can post your questions so that I can answer it offline. Or if you have any doubts regarding the sessions, if you wanted to have connect with me tomorrow, also you can do it during the daytime. Okay. And how many weeks are required to complete the course? What will each session duration? See, each session duration will be 1 hour. Okay, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Sharp. We will start maybe a minute or two, and then it will be for 1 hour, 5 days a week. And as I said, it will probably for 4 to 5 to 5.5 weeks, depending upon the number of questions that we get in every day. It might prolong. There's no exact. I'll anyway establish a. I'll provide you a schedule once we start the course, but it will be roughly around 5.5 weeks. There is another question on private chat AppDynamics regarding AppDynamics configuration. Okay, see, there are two parts of configuration. One, typically in most of the projects, okay, AppDynamics installation is not going to be done by performance testing team or performance engineering team. It is like any other tool, right? ALM or performance center. We will not go and install it. It needs a lot of separate experience for installing the AppDynamics tool itself. Okay, but what we will learn is, for a profiling, we will always need we'll have a separate server instance and a JVM. If at all you are asked to install the AppDynamics agent in a dedicated profiling machine, then you need to know how to configure the Java agent with your Java application in a single instance of Tomcat. So from that perspective, we will try to understand how to get the Java agent, the Dynamics, how to configure the Java agent with your application server, and then how to validate these connectivity. And then we'll go and understand what all various things that we'll look into APM tool, and then diagnosing the response time problem, all these things. So yes, the configuration will be done with respect to a Java application, but complete AppDynamics installation and all, we will not learn it, because it is not required. It is not the job of a performance engineer to go and install the AppDynamics tool itself. Are you also covering high-level Dynatrace monitoring? Okay, again, same thing, right? You have Neuralink, you have AppDynamics, you have Dynatrace. A lot of tools are there, and a lot of tools will come in the future as well. So in this course, we'll cover only AppDynamics from an APM perspective, but it's the same logic. From any APM tool, you will learn certain things, right? How to monitor the business transaction, how to monitor the heap, how to monitor the GC, how to monitor the CPU memory, thread utilization, response time diagnostics, database and monitoring, your third-party services monitoring, how to diagnose a response time problem, how to create some alerts. All these things are all common to any APM tool. Dynatrace, they might have a UI where you will do it differently. New Relic, there will be an UI where you might have to just to learn where to find these things in the UI. Otherwise, all these features are something will be part of any APM tool. So yeah, Dynatrace will not be covered, but AppDynamics will be covered with respect to whatever I spoke so far. Okay. Fine, guys. Is there any other questions before we wind up for today? Okay. So any questions related to the your course fees uh, um, or the topics or anything respect to the joining the session, you can reach out to Kumar sir with respect to the fees and payments. And yeah, related to the fees and payments, you can reach out to Kumar sir. And any specific to course content or topics, you can reach out to me through WhatsApp group, or you can also ping me separately. Anything respect to the fees or payment, you can reach out to Kumar sir directly. Yeah, fine, guys. Feel free to put any questions in the group chat or to me tomorrow, and we'll connect again tomorrow same time. The documents, yes, the documents related to the topic. As I said, right, all the artifacts, code, packages will be uploaded to the drive, and also you will get a documents related to the engineering from the Isha as well. Yes, you will get documents related to the topics. Okay, fine, guys. I'll stop the recording. This recording will be available tomorrow sometime in the noon. We'll meet again tomorrow, guys. Yeah, thank you.